Hi guys, thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel, and for those of you who are here for the first time, my name is Catherine and I tell true stories and facts. My stories today are about the village thieves or the village robbers. Most of us think that the village is the safest place to be, but I can say it could be the most dangerous when it comes to thieves, because most of the thieves are the people you know, and so less suspecting. You will not be suspecting them at any time. They will hit you with a surprise, because it will take a while before you realize that they are the thieves who are stealing from you, and not like from the city, in the city where next door, some thug from maybe Kibera comes and steals from Lavington, or a thug from Kawangware comes and steals from Lavington, things like that. Here, it could be somebody next door, your relative. Now, let me give you a story of such. They come in all forms. They come in forms of the jobless ones and even the ones who are working. There is this small boy who everybody feared in the village because he was violent. He does not stand to be corrected, and so he will get away with any crime. He will steal people's iron sheet. So if you are constructing something, you will be frustrated. You will be frustrated because he's your relative and he has stolen. And so what can you do? Unless somebody else does it. Watch till the end. See what happened to him. So this guy, when people from the city are building their houses up country, he will go and remove the doors and sell them. Remove the iron sheets and sell them. You know, people will wake up in the morning to see somebody's door has been removed, to see the iron sheets missing. It's very frustrating. Somebody's working so hard, saving a lot of money in this economy, and then you come and find your stuff has been stolen. What are you going to do? And when somebody will get him red-handed, he will threaten the person and even chase the person with a machete. Well, one time, he did the same to a wrong person. He did the same to a wrong person, and it landed him in prison. As they say, prison either makes you or destroys you. I think this guy was the opposite. Prison destroyed him. He served 1 year in prison for robbing from different families, and he will even come. You find like a neighbor has been robbed. You will see him in the crowd, also wondering how it happened. Yet, he was the one behind it. He was the mastermind behind the robbery, because he was hanging around, even helping in the constructions around. So he knows the movements of the people around that area, and so he knows what time he can rob them. If not, he will send people to do it. Now they're sleeping, you can go and rob them or threaten them. And he will look very innocent also in the crowd, trying to see what was robbed. He's also surprised. So finally one time he was caught and he served prison for 1 year. But then out of prison, he's back to it again. Back to it. Stealing people's batteries, car batteries. It's the same thief, of course. Same style of stealing. Your car is parked, he comes and steals your battery. The guy has a house, divorced, so he claims. He had a wife that they always had domestic issues, And so they divorced, so they claim. So he claims, but in reality, find out what happened with this divorce in the courts. So it happened that one guy has a public vehicle that he uses every morning to travel from one town to another with passengers and some goods. He wakes up in the morning and finds his battery missing, and he knows very well there was a battery here last night. I cannot be mad. He steals those ones very unexpectedly until you start wondering, did I have a battery here last night or was it stolen? The neighbor had also experienced the same thing, battery missing from his car. The culprit was there also looking. But he called the meeting and said, you all know who the thief here is, the famous guy from prison. We have to get this guy. We have to get this guy to produce my battery because this is spoiling my business. I am set to collect this amount of money on this particular day, but look, I have to go chasing one particular guy instead of preparing myself for the tomorrow's trip. This was around 7 p.m. in the evening. So the villagers gathered to go to this guy's house where they know he stays. Well, they saw him in the house. They knocked and knocked and knocked and knocked and knocked and knocked. Nobody's opening. They insisted because they knew that there was somebody because there was a light when they came. Finally, he opened. And the first thing he's saying is, I did not take anything. I have not taken anything. How do you know that we are coming to ask you for anything that you have taken? Produce the battery, he was told. I have not taken anything. If you want, you can come in and check. I have not taken anything. And then they entered the house. And sure enough, they did not see the battery. The battery was not there. First of all, before they opened the house, the guy had refused to, before he opened the house, rather before they broke into the house, he had refused to open. He had locked himself in and he got dressed in a black jacket, as they could see through the window. He had dressed into a black jacket. I mean, the guy is so specialized in his work that he knows what to dress at night. And they were wondering, what is he up to? So they thought that probably he wants to pass through the back door and leave them there hanging at the front. So one of the guys went and waited for him at the back door just in case he decides to go through the back door. At least somebody will catch him. And then the guy decides, suddenly opens the door and said, I want to go to the toilet. I'm pressed, He's very sly. When a thief suddenly comes out from his hiding and says he wants to go to the toilet, of course, you know that, oh, he has given up finally. We are in his hands. And he slipped through them and into the bush. They tried to chase him with machetes. And even them with machetes, and they don't have evidence. They're funny also. But they couldn't catch up with him. He had disappeared into the dark. Now they understood why he wore a black jacket. The guy is an expert. But when they looked around his house, now that he had opened it, there was no bed. And they were like, so where does this guy sleep? There is nothing completely in the house. Nothing. They came to know that they work in cahoots with the wife, the so-divorced wife. He takes the stolen goods to the wife, and nobody should know that they're still together, to kill suspicion, so that she safely keeps the stolen stuff. Inside his house, when the police had been called, of course, there were some cylinders that he had stolen from people that were being looked for, and that was it. The battery, of course, probably it had been transferred to somebody else that he was working in cahoots with. And that's his wife. His wife, definitely. Or whoever somewhere else. And the guy immediately called his mother and began saying they're on his case. They want to kill him. They have beaten him on the head. They've hurt his foot. He wants to leave. And as I speak now, it is known that the guy has left the town and gone to one of the big towns, Mombasa or Nairobi. He's a real thug. How does he survive? You know, a runaway from town to town. Now, these are just some of the petty thieves, but they start like this. For sure, one time he will be a very famous thug. Maybe he will reach the bank levels. You never know. Or if he hasn't reached yet, robbery with violence. Because looking at his character, he's a violent guy and he loves to rob. What will stop him from robbing with violence in future? He's still young at the moment. Now, this is just one of the petty thieves. Then we have others who come in form of funerals. They're treasurers of funerals, but they pay themselves a commission, a big commission, for being chosen to be treasurers of funerals. The money just disappears. What are you going to do as a relative? Because that's your relative who has stolen the money. What are you? In Kenya, they say, utadu. Utadu. I mean, what are you going to do? I have stolen the money. What are you going to do? You know? You have been chosen as a treasurer of a bereaved person. And instead of trying your level best to help these people have the best send-off ever, you take the money that has been given to the bereaved. That money at least will serve the bereaved family for a while. What kind of a world are we living in? It's a rotten society. That's why we say the most dangerous thieves are your relative, because they are less unsuspecting. You might be locking doors from strangers, but the thief is within. So if you like my content, like, share, and subscribe. Ciao!